Clinical Director at the Paluxy River Children's Advocacy Center, and we offer counseling services for the kiddos who come through our center for forensic interviews, and so we do a lot with helping parents manage behavior. So today we are going to talk to you about some tips and tactics. I don't want to call them tricks, we're not tricking kids. Just some tips and some tactics about how to help kids manage their behavior, and things that will hopefully make this easier for you guys as parents. Okay, and this is Happy Bear, my friend Happy Bear, and Happy Bear is going to be helping me today as far as helping me demonstrate how these things work. Okay, Happy Bear, are you ready? Okay, Happy Bear's nodding his head. He's ready. Okay, so tip number one. Actually, this is one of the tips. I'm going to kind of explain a few things first. One of the main things to remember is that when kids feel better emotionally, they do better. So when a kiddo's behavior is really big and hard to manage, that usually means that you're having a really big emotion to go along with it. And that's what makes their behavior so big. So distinguishing between the two, emotion and behavior, is really, really important. Because kids don't yet know, even some teenagers, kids of all ages, don't really yet know how to manage what's going on inside, because it can feel weird and uncomfortable and scary, and the brain just says, I don't feel good, do this. So that's one of the first things to realize whenever your kiddo's having a really big reaction to some big emotions is, okay, this is a big emotion that's happening that's got to be dealt with, as opposed to just the behavior. So one of the ways to do that is called name it to tame it, and that really is just naming the emotion so that the child can feel heard and feel safe and know what this big bad stuff going on inside is, because they don't know what that is. So we're gonna demonstrate. We're primarily going to use the emotion of anger today, because that's usually the one that parents will talk about the most. Anger, fear, and sadness are the three big ones that can be the most difficult, and all the other feelings kind of come off of. We're primarily going to talk about anger. So Happy Bear is going to demonstrate being angry. He can't make an angry face. He can use his body, though, to show his anger, so he's going to do that. And I'm going to name his feelings so he can feel better. Wow, Happy Bear, it looks like you feel angry. And it's okay to feel angry. When I feel angry, I take a deep breath. And then I let it out. Yeah, and then I feel better. Okay. So, name it to tame it. Tactic number 2 is, I'm going to look at my notes here just so I don't forget anything. Tactic number 2 kind of feeds off of name it to tame it. So what we did, we named the emotion and kind of gave Happy Bear a way to deal with the emotion. So this next one is called ABC, and it is acknowledge the feeling, or name it to tame it. It's the same thing. Set a boundary and give a consequence or an alternate behavior. So Happy Bear's going to act angry again. I'm going to name it to tame it, or acknowledge the emotion, same thing. And then I'm going to set a boundary and then give a consequence or an alternative. Okay. Happy Bear's really angry because his sister took his toy. And so now he's hitting his sister. And I'm going to say to him, Happy Bear, I know you're really upset that your sister took your toy. And it is okay to feel upset that your sister took your toy. I'd feel upset too. It's not okay to hit your sister. Okay. It is okay to say that you feel angry. It is okay to stomp your feet as long as you don't break anything. Okay, so I think this may be a good time whenever you're ready to apologize to your sister for hitting her. Okay, so acknowledge the emotion of feeling angry, and it's okay to feel angry. Set the boundary. It is not okay to hit. And 3, give a consequence of apologizing when Happy Bear is ready. And an alternative behavior of stomping his feet or using his words. Okay, so our next little tip, one of the things to think about whenever you are thinking of an alternative behavior, one of the reasons that works so well, and especially with kids, is because their brains, they don't have a really long attention span, right? Especially little kids. And they are much more likely to do the first thing they think of. So when we tell them what not to do, it's really hard for them to stop and go, oh, don't do that. Like, if I tell Happy Bear, don't think of the color red. Happy Bear, did you think of the color red? Yeah. Instead, if I say, Happy Bear, think of the color blue. Did you think of the color blue? Yeah. Okay. Happy Bear's wearing blue. Okay. So, when we tell kids what to do, they are much more likely to have success at managing their behavior than when we tell them what not to do. So, here's another example. Happy Bear's going to act mad and start swinging his fists. Okay. Happy Bear, keep your hands to yourself, please. Okay. It's that simple. Sometimes it can be hard to come up with these things to say because we're not used to talking this way. We're used to saying, no, don't, stop, quit. So, don't be hard on yourself. Practice and take your time. And know that it does take time, and that is okay. Because you're changing your behavior as well as trying to change their behavior. It all just takes time. Behavior, and if anybody's ever tried to change a habit, you know how long it can take. This is the exact same thing. Okay. Next one is called active ignoring. And this one is really great. And what it does, the reason it works is because you are communicating to the child indirectly. So direct communication a lot of times will reinforce the behavior that you actually want to stop. So like saying, telling a child to not talk so loud and saying it directly to them. Happy Bear can't talk. We'll use a different example. Happy Bear is going to stomp his feet and make a lot of noise. Now I'm going to say, Happy Bear, be quiet. And Happy Bear's getting attention from me. So the attention part feels good. So Happy Bear keeps making noise. Now, instead what I can say is, when Happy Bear stops making so much noise, when Happy Bear is more quiet, then we can turn on the TV and watch television. So, I didn't give Happy Bear direct attention, so it didn't reinforce the behavior. At the same time, I let him know what I wanted him to do instead of what he was doing. So, And even then, I started out the wrong way, so you can see how difficult it is to change that behavior. I started by telling him what not to do rather than what to do. So, telling him what to do. When Happy Bear is quiet, when Happy Bear stops making so much noise, that's kind of a no, don't stop, quit. See, it's not always easy, and sometimes it takes a lot of thinking and a lot of practice to get to the right phrase. So when Happy Bear is quiet, when Happy Bear's feet get still, when Happy Bear's hands get still, then we can. And that way the child knows what the boundary is and what's going to happen when they meet the boundary. Okay. Last one. This isn't so much of a demonstration as it is just kind of talking about punishment versus discipline. And this is a really important concept to understand when your goal is to have your child change their behavior. Punishment really doesn't work very well. We think it does because the behavior stops, but in the long run, punishment just teaches children to not get caught. Discipline is actually from the word disciple, which is to teach. So discipline actually teaches children how to make good choices rather than just to not get caught. So discipline is expected, so they always kind of know what the consequence is going to be. It is delivered in a timely manner. Punishment that is delivered hours after the behavior, so like the old "your father's going to take care of this when he comes home" thing, it does not work because their little brains just can't connect the two. It's been too much time has passed, and they just don't learn from it. So timely, expected, and the consequence must actually fit the behavior. So a consequence that is really, really big, like this one is a big one for teenagers, losing their phone for a whole week. They are not going to learn from that. All they're going to think is this is unfair. And when something is unfair, they just check out and stop learning. So they need a chance to restart every day. And little ones need multiple chances throughout the day to restart, to redo, to get it right. That way they can feel like they have something to work towards. When a punishment is too big, then they just kind of give up. Well, you maybe have heard teenagers say this before, I got nothing else to lose, so why not? And then they have no reason to make good choices. Let's see. Consistency is the other key about discipline versus punishment. Consistent discipline is way better for their brains to learn from as opposed to inconsistent. Because inconsistent, sometimes it might happen, sometimes it might not. Sometimes they're going to take the chance that it's not going to happen. And then the last one is emotional. Punishment very often comes from a place of anger, and in turn hurts emotionally. And when kids are hurting emotionally, it's difficult for them to learn. That's why when we talk about changing behavior, we start with name it to tame it. Because when they calm down, that's when the brain is best able to learn. When we are having a big emotion is not the time to learn. So when you are delivering a discipline, trying to be as calm and neutral as you can, you're going to have a lot more success at delivering the message and the message being heard and received in the way that you want it to. Okay. Happy Bear, do you have any questions? Okay. I think that's That's all. Thank you.